All right, so all kinds of news going on in the real estate world now as the market continues to shift. Does that mean it's more of a seller's market or buyer's market? It's shifting and it's heading in all different kinds of directions. Let's talk about it right now. This is Steve, real estate agent with the Malone Realty Group with eXp Realty. So let's talk about what's going on in the market because now, after all those months of being in that extreme seller's market, things are starting to change. And really, in the last week, a lot of changes have happened. So I'm going to post some links below in the description to this video to some of the stores we're going to talk about. But one of the ones really it just broke. Saw it on some of the nationals talking about how new home sales in June were actually down much more than they anticipated. Some of the experts had anticipated, maybe signaling that maybe it's kind of a harbinger of things to come in the entire economy. Is the fact that new home sales are starting to slide a little bit. So we'll link down and below for that. Also, though, sales of existing homes are up last month in June. So existing sales are up, new home sales are down. Inventory itself, as we've been talking about, has steadily been climbing, steadily been climbing. So you have that good news. And we also have, late last week, we had news of a major drop in interest rates for purchases of real estate. So some of those rates down near record lows again. So this year, while the trend has been up slightly on rates, there have been moments where the rates have kind of hit like a, I don't know, like a pothole or something, and they came back down again. So it came down a little bit, and then gone back up, up and down, up and down. So we're in a down moment now. Don't know how long that's going to last, and don't know what that's going to mean to the overall market, because I really do think that, based on everything we're seeing, they're going to trend upward ever so slightly throughout the rest of the year. But right now they're down. So you have more inventory, you have better rates, sales are up, but then sales are down unexpectedly of new homes. You also have the Delta variant that we keep hearing about. So whether that's a thing or not a thing, at the end of the day, it's what the public believes as to whether or not it's a thing. So is that going to cause issues? Is that going to cause people to hold on? We're also seeing, I saw a graph last week and kind of boggled my mind a little bit about how the price for nationwide, the price for homes, let's say the median price for home sales or homes that have gone on the market, I should say, is way above where we've been historically. It's the highest ever. And the demand and the number of sales is already starting to tick back down for the end of summer and really for the end of this extreme season. So what does that mean? It means that the buyers are starting to check out a little bit. The sellers have not picked up the news yet that the buyers are kind of fatigued. So we're in this really weird crossroads where, on the one hand, the buyers are fatigued. There are fewer buyers from out of state, and the rates were going up. And you're starting to get more inventory in the market. But now the rates have gone back down a little bit. There's all these back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So what does that mean for the market? That's a great question. What I think it means for the market is, I really think that as we head into this winter, it may be a little more like we typically see in the wintertime. In a typical year, what we see is through August, it's kind of a lull, and then into September, and then things pick back up towards December as people start moving for the end of the year, and then they start the new job, let's say January 1st, somewhere else. So typically, December is a very busy month in real estate, one of the busiest months of the year traditionally. And then we have that lull January, February. It picks back up in March as we head into the spring season and into the summer season. So you have those two lulls, the August, September lull and the January, February lull. Okay, so those are typically the two lulls that we see. Now, last year, because of COVID, we had that lull really in March to April because everybody was stuck at home. Nobody was seeing homes. And then we've been seeing crazy rock and roll numbers for real estate, since that point. There was no lull. We've just been rocking, crazier every month. I think we've passed the peak, and I really think that as we head into this fall, because we have the lack of buyers, because we have increased inventory, because you have the fatigue of buyers, even with the rates coming down a little bit, I still think that as we head into this fall, we're going to see, a more normal buying pattern in the fall, whatever that means. Because I think the world's completely different because of COVID until probably, it's going to take another year for everything to really settle out. But I think that you're going to start to see a pattern a little more indicative of what we typically see. So what does that mean? I say all that to say, you're saying to yourself, dude, what are you talking about? All right, so what am I talking about? If you're selling your house, it's no longer I'm going to put a sign in the yard and it's going to be sold for $500,000 over asking price. We've got to get back to business as far as if we're listing our house of being sure that it's ready to sell and it's priced right. And you're still going to get multiple offers if all those things come into play. If it's priced right, it looks the part, it's in the right area, everything's done correctly, marketed correctly, you're going to be in a good spot. But that let's just take a couple pictures with a cell phone and throw it up there and ask for way over where it's supposed to be. Yeah, those days have passed, I believe. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I think the buyers are fatigued. The rates aren't there anymore to support it. We don't have the out-of-state buyers really the way that we did a couple months ago either. So keep that in mind. If you're selling your house, you've got to really be ready because A, the buyers are fatigued, and B, you've got competition. People down the street are starting to sell their house too, and the people around the corner are starting to sell their house too. So instead of just being the only house on the block, you could have 2, maybe 3 houses in the neighborhood that are looking to sell at the same time. So that's going to be kind of the change that we're going to see. It's time to get back to business if you're selling your house let's get the house ready to sell. You have questions, let's talk about it. I'll give you the number here at the end. So if you're buying a house, what does it mean? If you're buying a house, finally, you may actually have some options. You may not have to just jump at the very first thing that you see. You may actually get a chance to go take a look at 2 or 3 houses and maybe even have a chance at one of the houses. Does that mean that you have a week to think about it and you can ask for 10% under the asking price? Probably not. We're not there yet. But does it mean that if you look at it, you have to have the offer printed in hand, walking into the house, and it has to be 15% over asking price without even asking for due diligence and all that? You don't have to do that anymore, in my opinion. Now, if you absolutely love the house, you got to do what you got to do. Talk to a professional to be sure you're doing the right thing, because I've seen a lot of, and what we've seen a lot of this year is people really waiving rights and waiving things that in a normal market we would not suggest, and really even in this crazy market I would still not suggest doing some of the things that we've seen people offer in some of these offers. So be sure you're working with a professional to be sure that you're not only being aggressive but you're being protected, because there's that fine line you got to walk, I should say, to be sure that you're doing everything you can to get the house, but you're not actually potentially setting yourself up for the future, for major headaches in the future by not doing the things you're supposed to do in that house. So if you're a buyer, it's a better situation. If you are a seller, it's still a great situation, but you just need to be mindful of it's time to get back to business, time to be ready to sell and do your part. So we're going to continue to watch the market. We'll have updates every week to 2 weeks. I'll continue to put out videos. If you ever have any questions, you can always email me or message me. I'm all over social. I'm at Facebook, Instagram. I'm all over. I don't think I have MySpace, but whatever. You don't have MySpace either. But give me a call, 470-233-4409, 470-233-4409. Like I said, I got these couple of stories. I saw them, put those links down in the bottom under the video. And if you have any questions, give me a shout. Let me know. This is Steve, Malone Realty Group, EXP. Y'all be good. Bye.